You're watching Uberdemon's movie Morgue. It's harvest time!
Hello, Fiend and Fiendettes, and welcome to yet another installment of Uberdemon's Movie Morgue. This week I'm going to start off with a literature segment, and the first book is Gothic Charm School. My wife picked up this book, and it's a kind of pigeonhole on Gothic, the Gothic subculture, the different varieties of Goth, if you will, and what have you. Very funny book. I kind of take stuff like this as kind of tongue-in-cheek, um, as I believe people are what they really want to be, not some kind of stereotype or pigeonhole or some kind of label, if you will. But cute book, worth checking out if you're a goth kitty, and you like learning or just picking up weird books like this about the Gothic subculture and seeing how accurate they are, how way far off they are. Now this one's actually pretty accurate. It was written by someone who's in the subculture, so check it out. It's a fun time to just check it out and see what she wrote about goth people and the goth subculture. Second book is a Gothic art book called Gothic Art Now. Has a lot of really cool artwork in it, Gothic artwork from people all over the globe. Third book is Death Warmed Over. This is a funerary cookbook. And what I mean by that is there's recipes from around the globe of various funerary dishes from various cultures. And this book covers just about every culture out there. Various Asian cultures, European cultures, some American dishes based on regions, north, south. Very cool. And I'm actually going to have one of these dishes cooked for me for my birthday. My birthday's around Halloween, and I thought this would be a neat idea. Music segment this week is going to cover some horror bands that I haven't covered in a while, but first I want to start off with Guar's new album, Lust in Space, and this is a very inventive album. This album is awesome. It's very fine-tuned, it flows very nicely. A lot of great songs on this one. If you're a Guar fan, pick it up, check it out. You won't be disappointed. I'm going to hop over into the realm of Psychobilly for a moment. I got this CD last Halloween after seeing the video for Channel 13 on Uncle Pigor's Spook House DVD that I got with a Toxic Tunes order last year. And this is a really good Psychobilly album. There's a lot of kind of synth elements to this particular Psychobilly band, but definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Psychobilly. Their song Grave Robbers from Outer Space, very catchy, very cool, and of course Channel 13 is also on here, as I also mentioned, and it's a great song featuring the voice of Uncle Pigors of Toxic Tunes. Next, there is a band that I've been looking at or following for a while called the Kakin Kats. And this, I believe, I might be wrong, I think this is their first album. If not, it's definitely one of their earlier efforts. And this is my favorite album by them. It's got the song Perfect Suicide on it. Graveyard Tree 2, Die Cat Die, Chainsaw Massacre. A lot of great songs on this album. And this is one of their newer albums. Not their newest album, but I think an album or two ago. And this one's called String from the Pack, and it's another good Psychobilly album. It's very short compared to Inhumane, which was the album I just showed you. But if you're a fan of Psychobilly, or even like the Misfits, I mean, there's a lot of bands that try to emulate the Misfits out there these days because they did it the best, obviously. But as far as something in kind of the same vein as old Misfits, but different and is Psychobilly, check out the Kakin Kats. Very, very well worth your time if you're into that kind of stuff, which I happen to be. Another band, this is more of a rock band, Calabrese. This album's pretty good. This Traveling Vampire Shows, I think this is their second official release, through a major label, or more major label. Another great horror-themed album. Check it out. Okay, gonna move on to a quick game segment. One Chanbara, a Japanese video game, and it's basically zombie bikini squad or zombie samurai bikini squad. You run around hacking zombies up with a samurai sword, and it doesn't get much better than that. You just run around, you hack up a bunch of zombies, and fling blood everywhere. It's a great time. And coincidentally, they happen to make a movie out of that video game. This is the movie. The movie wasn't too bad for a video game movie. It's an actual, I'd say it's a faithful adaptation of the game itself. A lot of directors, just make the video game without having played the game or having much passion for the source material. I think they really had a passion and an idea with the source material as far as this movie was concerned. It is a video game movie through and through, but as far as video game movies go, it was worth checking out. And I'm going to step over in the world of HD for a minute. I happened to find this at Best Buy this week. It was on sale for $12.99, and it just came out like maybe a couple weeks ago. Grab it. Oh my god. I'm a huge fan of Creepshow. This movie is literally as old as I am. Great movie. Check it out. Stephen King and George Romero, can't go wrong. The transfer on this, crystal clear. Even on DVD, I mean, it looked a lot better than it did on VHS, granted, but on DVD, the colors were kind of washed out on certain things, and you didn't really get that full comic book effect with the colored and the back projections and the weird special effects they did to make the movie look like a comic book. With this, the colors pop. You feel more immersed in the film than ever before, just for that reason, and it's like watching the movie all over again for the first time. Pick it up if you got a Blu-ray player. Go get it at Best Buy. It's $13, worth your money. The main focus of this week's Movie Morgue is Hispanic horror films. In the realm of world cinema, horror is universal. Just about every culture that I'm aware of has some kind of a horror film industry or some kind of horror film culture, or and all stems back from their local mythologies and folklore and just the mythology of their indigenous land. And this week I decided to dedicate the Movie Morgue to Hispanic horror, and it's going to feature films that were made in South America, Middle America, and Spain. I'm going to start off with a couple, I believe these are Mexican movies. I'm pretty sure they're Mexican made. Cemetery of Terror and Grave Robbers. These are really cheesy movies, and that's why I love them. The makeup effects are kind of cool, and the set pieces are kind of cool. Again, it's cheesy, but I have a feeling with the budget they were working with, this was like their level of state-of-the-art special effects. And if you keep that in mind watching it, these films are actually pretty watchable. I'll admit they didn't keep my full attention, but there are a couple of moments where like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then I moved on. If you're tired of seeing the same old stuff, it's great to kind of dip your toe in the water of something like this, and you'll be a little refreshed, or it's nice to see something different every once in a while. Something Weird Video has released a couple of Hispanic efforts. I'm going to start with Wrestling Woman vs. the Aztec Mummy. This happens to be one of my dad's favorite movies of all time, and it was kind of a guilty pleasure of his growing up, and it's one of those movies that you couldn't readily find until a great company called Something Weird Video released it on DVD. Sheer camp, sheer cheese. Check it out if you're into that stuff. And there's Night of the Bloody Apes, a lot more serious of an effort, by far. Definitely worth checking out. And a lot of these films feature luchadores. But Night of the Bloody Apes features a hulking human gorilla-like creature that stalks and kills and slash and pillages and sneaks into women's rooms, and it's creepy in that aspect, and it's just a big humanoid monkey that wants to mate.